this was Bernie's interview on Meet the Press yesterday morning. So here's what he had to say.
As you know, your statement was met with some sharp reaction as well. This is what Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi had to say. Take a look. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Speaker Emerita.
Bernie Sanders has not won. Let me, with all due respect, and I have a great deal of respect for him for what he stands for, but I don't respect him saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned the working class families.
Well, if
all that Botox.
Well, if the richest member of the Democratic Party,
I want to put her trading numbers. I want to put her current insider trading numbers up there right now.
It's got to be true, Steve. I mean, she would definitely know a thing or two living in Pacific Heights, San Francisco, California. Let me tell you, really in touch with the regular person.
Senator, how do you respond to Nancy Pelosi?
Well, Nancy is a friend of mine, and we've worked together on many issues. But
Bernie, who gives a
fuck on many issues? We're good friends.
Oh my God!
I can't even listen to it. It's like, can I take my headphones out so I don't have to?
It's horrible. No, it's horrible. But I'll show you something.
I have to say to Nancy, in the Senate in the last 2 years, we have not even brought forth legislation to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, despite the fact that some 20 million people in this country are working for less than $15 an hour.
It breaks my heart
in
every
America
time I
today,
hear him
we have
talk.
not brought, in the Senate, we have not brought to the floor the PRO Act to make it easier for workers to join unions. We're not talking about defined benefit pension plans so that our elderly can retire with security. We're not talking about lifting the cap on Social Security so that we can extend the solvency of Social Security and raise benefits.
Shut up,
By the way,
Bernie.
if you're an
Stop.
average working person out there,
he's
you
Mick
really think
resistant.
that the Democratic
He's
Party
Mick
is going to the
resistant.
mats,
He
taking
is
on powerful
absolute
special
boy, oh boy,
interests
yeah.
and fighting for you? I think the overwhelming answer is no, and that is what has got to change.
So I want to show you something, Steve. So just so we're all aware, I did buy this deck of war criminal playing cards. It's a fundraiser, guys. It does help people in Palestine. It's genocide since 1948, war criminals. And guys, it's at thewarcriminals.com. And as you can see, Bernie Sanders is one of the jokers. So he is in fact in here. The other joker is Obama. So I'm just saying, but anyway, it's a whole deck of war criminals, folks. It's global, so no country should feel left out.
Freedom House says that's bullshit. Bernie shifted the Overton window. If you got, listen.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes, he did.
But remember, it's easy to stand on a soapbox and say these things. It's another thing to actually take action when you need to. Remember,
he played the Mick resistance role and he did shift the window.
They 1,000% had an opportunity. We preached it here on the podcast, even though a lot of people were trying to push back. We said that they absolutely should have forced the vote on Medicare for all. If there was going to be consequences, so be it. But you had to back them into a corner and say, we don't actually support the policies that we claim to support. And so now what's going to happen, Steve, is I'm sure you would agree, Bernie is going to try to gin up support for the Democratic Party again. He's going to try to get candidates to get up on the soapbox themselves and say, this is why we lose and this is why we need this. And then the same thing will happen in the midterms. The Democrats will gain some seats. They'll act like they're going to do something, and then we're going to still sit idly by while nothing gets done again and again and again.
Right.
Look, I'm just telling you straight up. I mean, we can go through this rigmarole. I know that there's a lot of people. Like I mean, I got
I'm
tape.
with you. I think it's
years
silly.
of tape.
It's just
what's that?
I'm with you. The whole thing is silly. Like I don't believe. Like we're really just watching like professional wrestling. And it's so silly. It's right. I don't know how anyone takes any of it seriously.
I remember sitting there crying on live stream, like Grumbine shitlib right there, shitlib Grumbine. I mean, I was in full shitlib mode when Bernie lost the first time when he conceded. There's a video of me and people call me cuck and all kinds of other shit. Deservedly so at this point, right? But I was genuinely bought in. And like, honestly, it took a lot to separate myself from that. Okay. And what I'm trying to say when it comes to things like what Bernie's saying, right? This is a pitched battle. There's nothing coming from it. Everyone wanted them to stop killing everybody. I mean, around the world, people are calling, like, Like if the U.S. didn't step in the way, the ICJ would have put Israel in the toilet. It would have done something hard. Like they were ready to put them to court. They were ready to take them down, but the U.S. stepped in, right? Which is another shit show. The UN cannot be reformed. NATO should be dissolved. All these things should happen. We should have ranked choice voting, guys. We should. But who's going to put that in? The Republicans and Democrats are going to voluntarily give up their power because that's not how this mock, trial works. Okay. This isn't real. You're not doing that. You're not defeating them in their system. And this is the painful thing, because then you have to ask like that, the Chinese fast food drive up lady and Dude, Where's My Car? And he goes, yeah, I want some fried rice and then I'll take water, and then you put it in a bag and hand it to me, and then you got to keep asking, and then. People don't want to ask, and then. They're like, I got my I voted sticker right here on my forehead, and I've done my duty. I am a good American. I voted. I'm a good liberal. I've done my thing. You can't buy. What are you talking about? What do you want? Tiny hands to win? What do you want? Rump or T-rump or what are the loser things that they say? I mean, you're a puppet. You're this. I mean, on and on and on.
Totally call me king. You can call me king. I'll be king for a day or a few days.
If you can't vote your way out of this, I want you to think about this. There's some sayings out there, and I'm sure the crowd can answer me. But when you cannot allow people to peacefully protest, when their voices of the people screaming out are ignored, guess what's left over? And people don't want to talk about it because it has to happen outside of the electoral process. Sorry, you guys that love working in parties. I'm going to create a 58th party and a 274th party and 9 millionth party. The system is run by two private corporations, the Democrats, Republicans. They control the debates. They control everything. Okay. In this system, in this little ecosphere, they control everything. They control the media. The media is like a lapdog that says whatever they want. There is no real media anymore. It is pure Leni Riefenstahl style propaganda. And at the end of the day, the only way out is to unplug and organize. I mean, it's easy to call on the names of people like Fred Hampton. It's easy to call on, the old things that we thought we knew, the 60s and 70s and the communist revival and so many things that went on over the course of our history. But they have done everything they can to kill and quell any form of worker unity, worker solidarity. They've done everything they can to make us feel like we are powerless because we have to deal with their version of the world. And people are so lacking curiosity, so unwilling to ask and to think about what could happen, what we could do, right? I've been saying for anybody that's listened to me on Status Quo, I guarantee you've heard me say this. You've heard me say it on this channel too. We must build parallel systems. We must build dual power. We must do this outside of the electoral process without any daddy Bernie Sanders, without any mama bear Pelosi's, without any AOCs ready to sell us out, without any of that shit. And it needs to be focused on workers united. It needs to be citizens united for real, like a real citizens movement, a movement of people. Okay. And until we do that, as long as we allow the D and the R to define who we are as people and eliminate us from talking amongst each other, there will never be that. And the other thing that's really important, it is so important to have an understanding, a theoretical framework of understanding capitalism, not just fascism that we throw around like a fucking tin can. I mean, really, truly understand capitalism, understand state capitalism, which is the merger of corporate and state power. And that is fascism. Okay. And that is what we have right now.
We already have it.
Yeah. Right.
Before Donald Trump, anyway, But until people are willing to stop just suckling on the sugar, suckling on the gummy bears, okay, and start going in for the real meat and potatoes and digging in. And I'm telling you, it may not start with 1 million people. It may only be 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, 100 people. It needs to build from a nucleus, a strong nucleus of people that understand and can express and train people up. Because right now what's happening is we're splintered into 1 million tiny little fragments. And there's always these little cool kids clubs that are very exclusionary, very uneducated, by the way, but they have the power, they have the momentum. And this is what has happened, is this kind of anti-intellectualism that has taken over. And it's because the intellectuals in power have lied to us nonstop. Okay? The Constitution, I saw this, very important. The Constitution was written by wealthy white slave owners. It was not meant for we the people. The people out of doors is you and I. When they say, they talk about the people out of doors, they're not talking about just slaves, they're talking about everyone other than the moneyed class. The landowners, okay? There was no real revolution for us in this country. There was no U.S. revolution. It was a bourgeois, rich people said, I don't want to pay the tithe to the crown anymore. I'm here, man. This is mine. I'm the king here now, okay? And if you read your Howard Zinn, you'll learn a lot about this. And you can go deeper and deeper in the rabbit hole if you're willing to. But it's important to really understand that there's nothing about this system. There's nothing about the people in power. There's nothing about the ruse that's pulled over us that is reformable. It's simply not reformable. And you can try till the cows come home, but there's 1 million parliamentarians. There's 1 million bulwarks against popular support, against populism of any variety. And if you think this was a mistake, I want you to think about this. January 6th was a bunch of freaking misguided fools.
Right.
Some of them were probably racist. Some of them were probably white nationalists. Some of them were probably blah, blah, blah. But there was a great many people that were just completely misguided, misled, ignorant as hell. But what they did was they went ahead and they stormed the Capitol, and everybody's calling them an insurrectionist. Now, I know it's easy because you hate Trump so much, and I hate him too. But I hate them all. So it's just no big deal to me.
Right.
What I'm saying to you is that if the left or the working class got together and decided it was going to send 1 million people, that thing that happened on January 6th was preemptive. It was intended to say, hey, now we have cause to crack down and create all these laws to prevent the left from ever doing this. Okay? It's so unfortunate because there's people screaming,
right. The people on the left that were so happy with that were thinking that's so great that we shut that shit down. And I'm like, was it though? Was it?
All I could think about was if we ever really truly wanted to stop a genocide, what level will we be willing to go to make our government stop doing it?